Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. And boy, do I mean warm this time. It was cold last week, but for some reason, now the sun decides, oh yeah, I'm going to do some overtime today. So yeah, that's happening. But yeah, other than that, it's been, I'd say, a fairly usual week for me. Not entirely sure, although a lot of progress has happened, actually. I'm quite happy with this week. So, I will go over that. So, again, we are all safe, we're all healthy. If I sneeze at all, it's again hay fever, but I don't know, I might have just jinxed it. Yeah, definitely just jinxed it. I'm going to be finding some shade today. That's the issue for the time being. Yeah. As far as family stuff, I believe the only change is that my brother's officially given in his letter to his football team, and is now, because he's going to university next year. So that's that. Also, I guess my accommodation and his have both been booked in the same corridor, so that's going to be fun. He's already promised to ding dong ditch me a couple of times, so I've got that to look forward to now. Although I guess the giveaway is that no one else really knocks on my door, which is good, you know. In that scenario, it's best, given what state I end up letting that room get into, it's usually best people don't come around, quite honestly. So I'm not concerned about that. But yeah, who knows? This year I will try to keep to better cleanliness than before. Although, who knows, I can't really promise anything. We'll see. In the end, it's me who's missing out on a clean room if I don't do that. So yeah, lesson to learn for myself. Anyway, back to this week. So, as you've noticed, or maybe you haven't noticed, the deadline for the Muse and Girl new casting call has been extended. The reason being, I'm not sure if anyone has actually checked the references. I know a couple of people who've auditioned are familiar with the Mutant Girl already. Heck, some people have auditioned in the Mutant Girl already. So they kind of know the characters to begin with. However, the other people, it seems, are not as familiar. So there's a bit of a distance there. So yeah, checking the references is probably the best idea going forward, because like I said before, I don't need the characters to be exactly as they were before, as the original cast, but it has to be somewhat approximate. I mean, come on. So yeah, there is that. I'm not expecting perfection, but still, I feel like in particular for Mrs. Dysart is one of those two you have to check the reference to really get her character down, because as people are no doubt aware, if you watch the series, Mrs. Dysart is a particular character with a particular way of talking. So if anyone hasn't done that, then I suggest you redo your auditions to try and match that. Reason being, I get the idea that you want to make the character your own, but on the other hand, you do have to consider the fact that this is a character people are familiar with. One that has admittedly been away for quite some time because of the setting change, but is still one that people have come to know a certain way and has certain mannerisms. So suddenly taking that out, it's no longer the same character. So, if at all possible, please, if you're going for Mrs. Dysart, check the references. And also, even if you think that you're not suitable for the part of a teacher, bear in mind that the last actress who did that role also did Morwenna, who was a 12-year-old, and Kylie, another 12-year-old. Well, they're 13 now because they've aged, but still. 12, 13-year-old So, and so it's clearly possible. I mean, she's a young actress. I'm not going to give away her exact age because that's private information. But all in all, she is quite young. So it's possible. And Mrs. Dysart, in a way, is kind of similar to Albus Dumbledore in the Harry Potter books, in the sense that she's older. I mean, not like 100 years older, but still, she is quite old. Not quite old. Actually, she's 36. That's not old at all. She's middle-aged. So yeah, she's middle-aged and sorry, I'm being distracted by a beeping sound from ahead. So yeah, Mrs. Dysart is, as I believe, said 36, 37 now from the original script, but she acts like a much younger person, much like Dumbledore does, because Dumbledore has a lot of energy stored up, and he seems a lot more youthful in the books than he comes across in the films, because obviously, you can't really cast an older actor to act much younger than themselves, yet still keep their old appearance. It just doesn't gel right. So there's that. Danger live rail. It's not good. Well, I mean, obviously live rail, because I'm going underneath a tunnel right now. Again, I'm always discovering something new in these Walking Wednesdays. As long as I pick a different path, I'll just eventually go through the entirety of Crawley. I said that last time. So yeah, that's where the announcements are for the time being. The deadline's extended, I don't know how long yet, but it's a considerable time. Ooh, train passing. Can't even see it. The other thing to bear in mind from this week, I mean, I'm still waiting for those reviews that I was talking about last week, and probably the week before, and the week before, maybe the week before, I'm not sure. But those ones are ever so closer to being sent in. Hopefully, both Looney and Lizzie managed to put their things on unlisted on YouTube and send me the link, because then I can download them. Simple as. But yeah, I will definitely be pursuing that today. However, I did manage to actually get a review out that I had left for quite some time, which was the second of the I'd Risk My Life For You series, which did have elements of self-harm involved in the story. So obviously that came with a caution. I mean, they also came with another like goal, which was 5 this time because of the nature of the video. But yeah, so far apparently I've looked up the tags. I'm also very high up in the search results for I'd Risk My Life For You is Mimi-chan, so that's good. What was I going to say now? Yeah. So yeah, who knows if that will pick up, because again, it is a quite sensitive video, so I'm not expecting, huge ratings from it this time. I do want to do part 3, so do make sure it hits the like goal. It's almost there anyway. But yeah, I want to carry on that series, and one of the reviews that I'm waiting for is Taming the Bad Boy. So in a way, this is the first review that I do of a gay gacha is actually, for Pride Month, is actually not Taming the Bad Boy in the end, due to delayed reception from editors. But that's fine, as long as I get that before June 30th, because otherwise I will just, that's another Pride Month missed. Last time it was because I didn't really know how to actually edit them properly, and I started on June 30th. But this time I haven't done anything wrong, apart from I guess, trust the wrong person with the wrong file. Which ironically is what I received back. I don't know. Something to consider. Speaking of things to consider, I have to figure out which way I'm going to turn now. I think if I go down that way, I should be able to put something back, but there's people there, so I'm going to go a long way around. There's one more thing I need to talk about that I've worked on this week. In fact, one thing worked on yesterday. So, I'm sure people are aware of that scene in Tales of Nicanor that delayed the rest of the series because they didn't have enough people to film it. Well, as it turns out, that scene was filmed yesterday. Oh. Okay. I got a signal to go from the cars. That driver. Okay. Apparently they want to do a Dewey Finn from School of Rock and start screaming in the car. That kind of thing. I know that's part of a song, but I don't know which song it is. So I just say Dewey Finn from School of Rock. Carry on. Another car there. Right. People still don't think that I look both ways when I cross the road. Clearly you haven't noticed that I was on a roundabout and clocked in everything at once. So, what was I saying? Yes, that scene from Tales of Nicanor has been filmed. So, all of that is in its proper place. Well, not quite. It's, I still got to sync up the audio, but the audio was done beforehand. And honestly, you know, seeing what it takes to do the body acting in Minecraft, once you have Aiden as your camera and as a potential director, I mean, he did direct that scene. I was the assistant director. Let's be fair. As soon as you have someone to do that, honestly, the only problem is actually getting the actors to do what you want, because there was a lot of messing around before we actually knuckled down and got everyone there. And then, of course, people have other stuff going in the background, like their lives and whatever. Just as well, we weren't using that audio. But that's all fine. I mean, I don't mind that too much in moderation. So, all in all, that scene, it was a short scene anyway. But the reason I pushed on to get that scene involved so much is because it introduces an important character that comes back during the season finale. So there's a reason I needed to have that person there. So what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say now. Yeah, so that was kind of essential there. And also, it was the one that I famously directed Caroline for, and she put a lot of the effort into. Probably not as much as into Pefwa, but there you go. That's another thing that got super delayed. I'm realizing that more and more now that as I do more voice acting, that everything gets delayed by a lot. So you can sign up for a project in February, and once it comes to June, they still haven't made the first episode, or even cast everyone. Yeah, so there's a lot of things, and also a lot of Gacha VA projects that I thought were going to take off and be the new emergence of Gacha voice acting turned out not to be, because I don't know. I guess it's what to say now. Because it just ended up projects end up being cancelled by the creator, whether they got bored, they couldn't use the technology, I don't know. People didn't get their stuff in on time, in which case you replace them, but yeah, there's more often than not, even if people get a massive surge and people joining their servers end up getting used more for traditional Discord server entertainment, like mini games and such, which if Butter Nation is anything to go by, I am not very good at keeping up with. I will leave that much to Dream Team. I mean, honestly, GLVA has been enough of a success on its own. I don't want to count that as a community server, because, well, not community server, an acting server. That's self-sustaining. Again, that's part of the good stuff with that. You don't even need mods to deal with that stuff, because, I mean, everyone just kind of gets on with it. And no one pings anyone either, so it is quite a nice server anyway. And also I just generated an infinite link there, so anyone who wanted to join in the Music Girl announcement and couldn't, the link is now fixed. So that's good too. But yeah, I feel like I'm, in the terms of Tales of Signal North, I am quite guilty of promising having a cutscene done. There was only one scene as well, and not delivering on it. Until eventually I decided, you know what, this has been long enough. I don't want Caroline's major effort to go to waste. And so I delivered on that. So there you go. That's pretty much it. So yeah, all in all, this week was a rather productive one. I would think so. So yeah, who knows? I also tried reconnecting with some friends in different social medias. But I don't know. I received some feedback from some of them, but another one is being quite elusive and mysterious at the moment. So who knows? I'll need to get back to her on that. And then of course there's others to reconnect with. But progress has been made. And also, speaking of reconnections, you might be seeing someone make a certain comeback into their former roles, well, both roles actually. They had two in different media, so who knows? Hopefully, that will happen soon. Crying out loud! How many cars are there? Okay. Just these two. Alright, I'm going to turn around now because there's no way I'm going to get back the way that I came. So yeah, so yeah, that's it for this week. I believe, again, if I forget something, I don't know, I'll say it next time if I remember to do that. Who knows at this point? Got to figure out my way back home. I think I've gone further than usual this time. I could be wrong, who knows. But yeah, while I do that, please leave a like or dislike because your opinion matters. And on that note, until next time, farewell.